The Toronto Raptors have been the biggest story of the 2019-20 season so far. Yes, more so than the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Philadelphia 76ers or the Miami Heat. Preseason predictions had them going 46-36. They've already destroyed every betting line at the beginning of the season. So many confident fans made a lot of money by betting the over. In fact, this is the 9th straight year that they will beat the odds. With a ridiculous win streak under their belt, as of now, they're on pace to win over 60 games, which is even better than their previous season when they had Kawhi Leonard. Not only are they absolutely killing expectations, but they're also doing better without Kawhi, without their superstar who knocked out the Sixers, the guy who outplayed Giannis and had one of the greatest playoff runs we've ever seen. However, Raptors fans know that their team was much more than just Kawhi, and perhaps this Raptors team should not be that surprising. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today, let's talk about the Toronto Raptors. And I'm gonna try to explain why they're doing so well, and much better than every metric predicted. Can they win the championship again? First, it's the coaching. Typically, when it comes to professional predictions, whether it's through 538 calculations or sportsbooks, they always underestimate good coaching and how it can affect a team's success. That's why the San Antonio Spurs have also beaten the odds for so many years, although this year has been quite rough. Good coaching gets severely underrated. Nick Nurse, while he doesn't have the resume of other great coaches in history, he's already proven to be an amazing coach. He's always been a great coach, but in the previous season with Kawhi, his coaching got overshadowed a little bit, because people were paying more attention to Kawhi and giving him more credit. However, Nurse was just as important. One of the things he's best at is being flexible, and despite the rampant injuries across the roster, he still finds a way to put out the best lineups on the floor. So far, 11 different players have been in the starting lineup. He's not scared to change up his lineup, and we saw a glimpse of that in the 2019 playoffs as well, where he would interchange Ibaka and Gasol at center, depending on the matchup. Now, he's continuing to do that. When he faces a team that goes big, he goes big. When he faces a team that goes small, like the Rockets, Nurse is not afraid to go small either. Everything from having 2 point guards in the lineup to having 3 bigs in the lineup, he's tried everything. Nurse deserves praise for putting them in that position to succeed. This greatly separates him from former coach Dwayne Casey, as Casey was not good at adapting, and he preferred to stick to the same plan even if it wasn't working. Next, the defense has been fantastic. This is something that carried over from the days of Casey. Their defensive identity has always been their primary strength. Even after losing Kawhi and Danny Green, 2 of the best wing defenders in the entire league, the Raptors' defense got even better. They went from 5th in defensive rating to 2nd. The biggest change in their defense has been their focus on limiting points in the paint. Previously, they were 9th in the league, giving up 47.5 points per game in the paint. Now, they've moved up to 2nd, giving up just 41.9 points in the paint. It all comes down to simply more effort. While we all know Kawhi is one of the best defenders in the league when he tries, but in Toronto, he did take a lot of breaks on defense, mainly because he had such a big role on offense. But now, with his minutes being spread out to guys like OG Anunoby, Norman Powell, and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, these guys are playing with a lot more effort and hustle. That's why the Raptors are now 1st in deflections, 4th in loose balls recovered, 5th in charges drawn, and most importantly, their 3-point defense has been top-notch. They're 2nd in most 3-point contests per game, right behind the Bucks. That's a significant jump compared to last year when they were 12th in the league. Perhaps the best part of all this is how innovative their defense has been. The coaching staff has experimented a lot, including running full-court press at the beginning of the quarter to throw teams off. An article by James Herbert of CBS Sports states, "No team switches its defensive coverages more frequently than Toronto. Nurse used a box and 1 and triangle and 2 in last year's finals. And while the Raptors had never tried those schemes before, they had spent the regular season cultivating flexibility. As defending champions, they have been much more adventurous, mixing in various zones and changing their coverages not just game to game, but minute to minute. Now, let's talk about some of the players. First up, it's Pascal Siakam. His rise to stardom had already been anticipated as he made drastic leaps in every season of his career so far. If we're being completely honest, he could probably win Most Improved Player again. He went from being Kawhi's sidekick to the primary option, now averaging over 23 points a game with a 29% usage rate. As a result, Siakam has been getting way more attention from opposing defenses, so naturally his percentages have dropped off. Kyle Lowry is a proven all-star and he proved to be incredibly versatile in his role. Back when Kawhi was here, Lowry was relegated to being the pass-first guy. While he was here, Lowry averaged a career high in assists in 2018-19 because he knew his role, which was to defer to Kawhi. But now, his scoring has jumped right back up to what it was before. For a guy who's 33 years old and barely 6 feet tall, it's very impressive Lowry has played at such a high level for so long. His leadership now is more important than ever. To be fair, Siakam is probably the only player on the team that we expected to play like how he's been playing. We knew he was about to break out, and he did. But in my opinion, most of the surprises came from the rest of the team, mainly their role players. Literally everyone has been playing better. Fred VanVleet is having a career year, averaging 18 points and 7 assists per game. Not only that, but he's a full-time starter now. We knew that him and Lowry have played many minutes together, but having both in the backcourt from the very beginning, in the starting lineup, it's been quite shocking. If you told me this a year ago, I would not believe it would work, but it's been working. Norman Powell has been having a breakout year too. Fans have been waiting for Powell to break out for a while now, but through the years, he's always been shadowing the stars, staying behind the spotlight, waiting for his chance to shine. Now he's been shining. OG Anunoby is also averaging career highs across the board. He's seen a steady amount of growth over the years, but when Kawhi was on the team, OG's minutes were really inconsistent. He was benched quite often for making the smallest mistakes, and he mostly did not play in the fourth quarters. But now he's the full-time starting small forward. Serge Ibaka has been quite the surprise too. Remember all those jokes back in the day about Ibaka's age? I might have accidentally started part of that conversation, but he's definitely looking like he's got some fresh legs and a lot more energy. This is his 11th season, yet he's actually averaging a career-high 16 points a game. That's not bad for a guy who we thought was declining like 5 years ago. Terrence Davis, the undrafted rookie from Ole Miss. He's been a pleasant surprise and found himself a permanent spot in the rotation and even scored a career-high 31 points. Davis is exactly the type of player the Raptors were looking for, and he fits in with their culture quite nicely. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Previously on the Brooklyn Nets, he's brought the same tenacity and energy to Toronto. Versatility is what makes him useful, and Coach Nurse has even used him as a small ball center, despite being the same height as PJ Tucker. He also contrasts the slow-footed Marc Gasol, who's still very valuable in the paint and for the playoffs against Joel Embiid and Giannis. From top to bottom, the Raptors are ridiculously deep, and their team-oriented approach is what makes them special. That pretty much sums up why the Raptors have been so good. It's a combination of great coaching, great versatility, and a lot of their players are having breakout years. Now, do I think they're going to make it back to the finals and win the championship again? No, I don't. This year, the Bucks do look better and superstars are more important in the playoffs, and teams will be more prepared for the Raptors' game plan. As great as Siakam is, he's not Kawhi. He's not as good as Kawhi, and I think defenses are going to pressure him a lot. He doesn't have the same ability to ISO, and he doesn't have the experience of being the go-to guy for such an intense environment. While I do think the Raptors can certainly reach the Eastern Conference Finals, it's gonna be tough to get further than that. So if I was a betting man, I would not bet on the Raptors winning the championship again. But hey, if they do, that would be a great story too. Anyway, that's all folks. Let me know your thoughts on this Toronto Raptors team. How far do you see them going? Do you think they can repeat? Let me know in the comments. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.